Imagine a place where chewing gum could land you a fine. Seriously, you heard that right. Gum. Now picture another country that, by law, requires your pet hamster to have a companion. Surreal, right? But these places play by different rules. If you think you've seen it all, get ready to question your own notion of bizarre. Have you ever considered living in a place where stepping on the country's coinage could get you into serious trouble? Yep, that's a thing. If you've always thought reality is stranger than fiction was just a saying, today you'll learn there are countries out there taking it quite literally. In this video, we're exploring 20 countries with laws so strange they might as well be jokes. That's right, 20 legal curiosities that will make you scratch your head and wonder, wait, how is this even real? Buckle up, because we're only just beginning our journey through some of the world's most peculiar rules. Before we dive in, a quick invitation. If you love random facts, pop culture, geography, and a good laugh, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. Done? Great! Then let's jump into the most unbelievable list you'll see today. You've probably heard of Singapore as one of the cleanest and most organized places in the world. But this place is different. The law there really isn't a fan of chewing gum. That's right, gum. Since 1992, importing and selling it has been practically outlawed. The reason? To keep the streets spotless and avoid gunk on sidewalks and public transportation. Imagine thinking twice before popping a stick of gum in your mouth when you leave the house. In Singapore, that's not dramatic. It's just how things are. The law's been relaxed over time, but there are still heavy fines if you break the rules. If you're the type who loves a minty gum after lunch, here's a tip. In Singapore, you might want to swap it for some candy. Switzerland is famous for yurts, chocolate, the Alps, and punctuality. But this place is different. They have a very particular law protecting household pets. If an animal is considered social, the law requires it to have a companion. For example, guinea pigs cannot live alone. If you only have one and it becomes widowed or loses its buddy, you're legally obligated to find it a new friend. Sounds like a joke, but it's not. They take animal welfare to a whole new level. So, no leaving your pet without a pal. Could you handle caring for 2, 3, or even more guinea pigs just to comply with the law? Have you ever imagined living somewhere that stepping on money could land you in serious trouble? In Thailand, it's a crime to insult the image of the king. And guess whose face is on all the banknotes and coins? Exactly. So if some cash falls on the ground and you accidentally step on it, technically you're disrespecting the monarch. That can lead to big problems. Offending the Thai royal family, known as lèse-majesté, is severely punished. And it's not just about stepping on the currency. Any gesture deemed disrespectful to their money can get you in hot water. So, if you ever visit, handle those coins with care and keep your wallet maneuvers to a minimum. If you think you've heard it all, wait until you find out that China has regulations about reincarnation. Yes, you heard that correctly. Reincarnation. According to a 2007 ordinance, any Buddhist monk in Tibet who wishes to reincarnate must get government approval. It's part of a set of laws aimed at controlling religious practices. Surreal? Definitely. In practice, it means that if the next Dalai Lama chooses to reappear, he'd need an official sign-off. Feels like sci-fi, but it's a real law. Granted, there's a deeper political and religious context here, but let's be honest, this has to be one of the strangest laws on Earth. Turkmenistan is known as one of the most isolated countries in the world, and it also has some of the most peculiar laws. Former President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov try saying that 3 times fast, outright banned lip-syncing. Really, miming to pre-recorded tracks during concerts, official events, or even on TV was officially prohibited. The rationale? To protect local culture and preserve the authenticity of Turkmen art. Can you imagine if that became a trend elsewhere? A lot of pop stars would need to seriously work on their live vocals. Rumor has it that in Samoa, an island nation in Polynesia, there's an unwritten rule, and some say it might even be official, that forgetting your wife's birthday can lead to fines or penalties. Myth or reality? Many tourists swear they've heard about it. Just in case, if you're married and planning to visit or move to Samoa, best to mark that date on 5 different calendars. The local culture places a high value on respecting family dates. Whether it's actually on the books or not, few people would risk testing it. Better safe than sorry, right? The United Arab Emirates is synonymous with luxury, skyscrapers, and extravagance. But this place is different. There, public displays of affection can lead to serious trouble, and we're not just talking about steamy makeout sessions. In many parts of the UAE, even warm hugs can be viewed as disrespectful in public. Foreign couples have been fined or even arrested for kissing in open areas. And it doesn't stop there. It's illegal to live together if you're not married. So if you're planning a romantic trip to Dubai or Abu Dhabi, keep the PDA to a minimum or save it for your hotel room. For many years, women in Saudi Arabia were banned from driving, a law that finally changed in 2018. It was one of the most striking examples of restricted rights in the world. You might ask, seriously, half the population couldn't drive. But this place was different. Even though they finally gained the right to get a driver's license, it took a lot of international pressure and local activism to make it happen. So while it's now old news, it remains a reminder of how some laws can feel totally surreal to the rest of the world. Japan is rich in tradition and places great emphasis on health. In 2008, they passed what's nicknamed the Metabo Law, setting waistline limits for people aged 40 to 74. Yes, companies are required to measure employees' waists yearly to ensure they're within a certain range. If you exceed it, you're given diet and exercise guidance. The idea is part of a national effort to combat chronic diseases. Does it sound excessive? Maybe. But this place is different. While many around the world struggle to lose weight on their own, in Japan, the government has jumped right in with formal legislation. Whether it actually works is up for debate, but it's definitely one of the more unusual health-related laws out there. Greece, the cradle of Western civilization and home of the Olympian gods, also boasts its own share of curious rules. How about one that bans high heels at archaeological sites? That's right. Imagine rolling up to the Acropolis in your best stilettos and being stopped at the gate. The reason is straightforward. Heels can damage the ancient stonework, and they also up the risk of accidents. It might sound small, but they take it seriously. So if you're planning a photo shoot in Athens, maybe trade the pumps for comfy sneakers. Your feet and history will thank you. Australia is known for its exotic wildlife, kangaroos, and stunning beaches. But this place is different. At least in the state of Victoria, there used to be a law that banned anyone who wasn't licensed from changing a light bulb. Yes, you read that right. Swapping a bulb at home was supposedly reserved for licensed electricians. Trying to be the household handyman could technically get you fined. Legend says the rule was meant to prevent electrical accidents. Luckily, it's been repealed, but it still makes the rounds on lists of the world's weirdest laws. So if you're in Victoria, rest assured you can switch out a bulb without landing behind bars. But it's still a funny bit of trivia. In 2011, the Malaysian government took an unusual stance. They banned the color yellow in political protests. Sounds crazy, but it actually happened. The Bersih movement, which demanded electoral reforms, used yellow as their protest color. The government, hoping to squash the demonstrations, prohibited t-shirts, banners, or any accessory in that shade if it symbolized support for the cause. This sparked international outcry. After all, banning an entire color is pretty extreme, right? But this place is different. Although that ban isn't much enforced these days, it definitely goes down as one of the stranger laws ever enacted. Denmark is often hailed as one of the world's happiest countries, but it also has a law that's at least a little quirky. Technically, before you start your car, you're supposed to check to ensure no one, kids included, is hiding underneath. Yes, it sounds out there, but it's a nod to safety in residential areas, aiming to prevent tragic accidents. Many Danes probably aren't even aware of this regulation, and it's not exactly something the police enforce heavily. Still, it's a rather sweet and slightly amusing reminder to be extra cautious. Canada, known for friendly locals and gorgeous landscapes, has an interesting monetary law. There's a limit to how many coins you can use in a single payment. Under the Currency Act, you can't, for instance, pay an enormous bill entirely with 1-cent coins. Technically, a vendor can refuse to accept that. The idea is to avoid abuse, like someone showing up with a bucket of loose change to settle a debt. Can you imagine that fiasco? The law is there, though in practice, most people don't know it even exists. But if you ever plan on making a grand statement by paying everything in coins, remember, it might not fly up north. The UK is chock full of historical and sometimes downright odd laws. One gem is the Salmon Act of 1986, which literally makes it illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances. Yes, it actually says that. The law, of course, aims to crack down on illegal fishing and fish smuggling. But the wording is so bizarre, it's become a global punchline. The burning question: what exactly constitutes a suspicious way of handling salmon? If you ever figure it out, please let us know. Meanwhile, if you're in the UK, just treat your salmon with respect. The Maldives might be a tropical paradise for vacationers, but it also enforces strict rules. One pertains to importing religious materials not affiliated with Islam. Arriving with a stash of Bibles for distribution can get you into trouble at customs, as the country follows the Sunni branch of Islam and bans the public practice of other faiths. The idea is to maintain religious uniformity, and violators risk confiscation or even deportation. This is not exactly highlighted on those dreamy resort brochures, so stay informed. Bringing a personal copy of your holy book might be okay, but hauling in multiple copies for evangelizing, that's another matter. Here, faith is closely watched. The United States has plenty of odd laws at the state level. Hawaii is no exception. There's, or was, a law making it illegal to place coins in your ears. Yes, it's as strange as it sounds. The worry was tied to magic tricks or scams, where people pretended to pull coins out of someone's ear to cheat or distract them. Let's be real, it's one of those ancient laws no one really follows anymore. But it's still on the books. If you're in Honolulu and love joking around with that, "Hey, I found a quarter behind your ear" trick, you might want to think twice, just in case someone decides to enforce it. Iceland is famous for breathtaking scenery, volcanoes, and geysers. But this place is different. In Reykjavik, the capital, there used to be an almost total ban on pet dogs for many years. The official reasoning involved health concerns and preventing diseases. Over time, the rules have been relaxed, but even now there's a special permit process for owning a dog in the city. You need to meet vaccination and microchipping requirements, among other things. It's not exactly a full-on ban these days, but it's still more complicated than elsewhere. If you dream of having a husky in the Icelandic snow, prepare for a fair bit of paperwork first. Portugal, land of legendary explorers, has its own urban myths. One popular rumor says it's illegal to pee in the ocean. The European Union does issue directives about water quality and protecting coastal zones, and from there sprang the story that urinating in the sea is an environmental crime. Plenty of folks claim to have seen warning signs or heard about fines. Is it legit or just a tall tale? Officially, there's nothing that specific in Portuguese law. Still, it's common courtesy not to convert the Atlantic into your personal toilet, right? Real law or not, it's already earned its place among bizarre rules. So maybe just hold it until you find a real bathroom. Bhutan is often billed as the happiest country in the world. At least, that's what you'll see in many documentaries. But this place is different. They have a law requiring citizens to wear the national dress at official locations and formal events. Men must wear the go, and women the kira. It's a way of reinforcing the country's cultural identity, and Bhutan takes it seriously. Heading into government offices, temples, or schools without the proper attire can get you in trouble or even fined. Tourists usually get a pass, but locals don't. If you love traditional clothing, it might be fun. But if you're a jeans and hoodie person, Bhutan could be a daily fashion challenge. So, which of these facts blew your mind the most? Hard to pick just one, right? These laws prove our world is way crazier and more creative than we often imagine. Let us know in the comments if you already knew any of these and which country left you most speechless. And don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more epic curiosities like these. After all, this planet's packed with unbelievable rules, and we love showing you the weirdest ones around. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.